Hi, I'm Shannon McGee, strategic business coach and franchise owner with Network in Action and NIAX. And today I have Lisa Sanders with LRS Executive Solutions. Thanks for joining me today, Lisa.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. How did you get started doing what you're doing?
Sure. So I have about 25 years of experience in the corporate nonprofit setting, supporting visionary leaders, people who are just very energetic, brilliant startup businesses. And I love the behind the scenes work. And just throughout my career, I just pivoted in different ways. And since 2020, I've kind of went fractional, and I just feel like I can support more people who need high level help, but
Mhm.
may not be able to bring on someone full time yet.
Well, they might not need it. Like at the end of the day, I find a lot of entrepreneurs, they're busy or they're overwhelmed, and they might not just be ready for that
Right.
that full time. But people
Exactly.
tend to think that's their only option,
Exactly.
you
They
know?
do. They feel overwhelmed and they're not quite ready to bring someone on, or they don't know how to bring someone on, or maybe what task, or how to partner with them. So
Mhm.
I feel like having someone with experience who's been in this role for so long, I sometimes take the lead and can kind of help direct them on what they can delegate and
Mm.
free up. So yeah,
I love that because I feel like sometimes people are afraid to move and to make a
yes,
decision because it's all or nothing. It's
yes,
hire.
exactly.
How do I find the right person? How do I train them up? I don't have time for that.
Right.
Right? And you
Yes.
give this interim to come in, kind
hmm
of hold their hand, guide them to make this possible. So what do you find are some of the first things people like if it's their first time using an EA, what are some
Yeah.
of the things that you tend to help folks with?
Right. Well, usually executives who are running a business are visionary and they don't like to be in the weeds. So they don't like to be in the weeds of doing the day-to-day task, or whether it's bookkeeping or budgeting or even creating systems or checking email, even something as simple as email, checking the email, following up on, client request. So those are the things that just really drain their
Mhm.
energy. And so when a visionary or an entrepreneur is just, they're way up here and they have all these ideas spinning in their head, they don't want to be bogged down in the day-to-day operations. They want to trust someone who can get it done
Mhm.
and free them up so they can continue with all their big goals and driving the business. And it just is always a good partnership, because I'm kind of the calm to the storm where they're just usually going a million miles a minute.
Well, interesting thing. I love when you were talking about partnering with them. Also feel that you would be an amazing partner for some of the fractional coaches and consultants out there, right? Because they're trying to implement new systems within a company, but yet who in the company can kind of handle some of that initial tactical? Tell me a little bit about that. I believe you say you've worked with EOS, doing some setup. Tell me a little bit about how you've come alongside other fractional folks to help these
Yes.
visionaries.
Yeah, I've kind of found a niche with coaches. So I've worked with a couple of executive coaches. One individual worked, he's a coach for some big corporations. So he has cohorts going, throughout the year, and he meets with, smaller groups, and as well as one-on-ones, doing those 360s. And, he has, a specific system in place. And then I've worked with another coach who, in a similar vein, but he works with, CEOs and presidents and senior leadership as a coach. And he has kind of a different strategy in place. And then EOS implementers. I've worked with companies who used EOS, so I kind of knew the system of scorecards and those quarterly meetings and sessions, and the setting the rocks and understanding all of that. So it was just a natural fit for me to support EOS implementers in their practice. So setting up, systems for practice management, even with
Mhm.
executive coaches. So you're kind of setting up the onboarding the client, knowing when to send out specific emails and follow up, and just kind of guiding the practice along, because those coaches don't want to be bogged down with
They don't wanna
having to
be in the weeds
follow.
either. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they
it's
don't.
very similar. Yes, they're a business owner that doesn't wanna be in the weeds, and you also work with business owners that don't wanna be in the
Yes.
weeds, but it's different, like, with the coaches to come alongside them to be able to kinda accelerate that growth, right? Because they can
Right.
focus on mindset shift because that's like
Yes.
the main thing you have to do when working with visionaries for a coach. And so
Mhm.
the tactical behind the scenes, knowing they've got someone partnering, setting up, driving those things allows you really to accelerate that turnaround.
Yes, for sure. Yeah,
I love that.
exactly.
Well, Lisa, this is so fun. If someone wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you?
Sure, people can connect with me through my LinkedIn, or I have a website, which is the lrsexecutivesolutions.com. And yeah, I'm quick to respond. So I love to meet new people and connect. And if I can help in any way, I love to do so.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining me today, Lisa. I love your story. And, I love working with business owners myself. And the idea of support for business owners is just so needed. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you as part of our community.
Thank you.